This video is a follow-up to the why I wouldn't buy a $300 playset. And again, that was my own personal preference. So when I make these kind of videos, it really is to get people educated on what's out there. There's so many times where I've seen people give advice without giving the full story or full explanation. And again, what I've said before on prior videos is if you have a certain amount of money and you've worked hard for that money, right? Like no matter what, unless you just inherited a bunch of money, but you worked hard for your money, whether it was mowing lawns, whether it was going to the office, working a corporate job, whatever. You earn that money, and some people have feelings on holding it or at least getting the most bang for their buck. For me personally, that is why I don't buy a playset. I'm one of those people that value cards for their playability, but also for their collectability, right? So I'm one of those people that are strong into what a collectible card game actually stands for versus just a game, right? Because I can pick up Monopoly. I mean, that was like the worst example ever. I hate Monopoly, but it's one of those things you keep going back to. Anyways, like you could play a card game. I could play Uno, but there's nothing unique or collectible about that, right? I have a game in Weiss that has anime that I love that I wouldn't mind playing with, but I wouldn't mind collecting too, right? There's really nice cards in there, signed or apparently stamped on some of these sets. But what we are looking at here is, so there was a lot of feedback on it, and I just want to, address that. So what I did here is, what would I do? What would I buy based on my goals and budget? So before I go into that, I want to just reiterate to everybody, and I mean everybody, what a playset is. More actually for the new people. The people that already know this don't need to hear this part, so you probably skip part of this. So a playset, well actually, Weiss, right, in general has two types of cards. And for me personally, I break them out into non-foil and foil. So you got the non-shiny stuff and the shiny stuff. And that's where you're looking at. So you got these commons, and then you got these rares. What a playset actually is consists of common and commons, rare, double rares, climax, common, climax, rares. So you get some foil stuff in a playset, but it cuts off right here. And basically what you have right here in this playset is all of the cards that you can play with. Everything beyond this point is just a fancier version of the cards above. You don't actually need these cards below, the super rare, triple rare, special rare, secret rare. You don't need any of those to actually play this game. You just need this section right here. There also are trial decks that contains cards that you can use to play with. And again, what a playset is 4 of each, because again, you can only play 4 of a certain card. So the playset will give you everything you need, and it normally costs $300 if there's no trial deck. If there is a trial deck, there's going to be 2 of them in it, so you normally see them for $335. So if you remember from my last video about playsets, why I wouldn't buy it, I run through a whole different listing of like the math and all that and what I would actually do. So again, I just have pictures of commons and blah 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 blah. Probably shouldn't have put this in there, but I'm not going to change my mind. So what I did here was I gave my own thoughts of what I would do given a certain amount of money, budget, characteristics, what you're actually looking to do. So I put this one as true gamer. So this is for people that could care less about shiny stuff. You don't. When I mean shiny stuff, the super rares and beyond, the things that you don't actually need to play with. So you don't care about that stuff. You're gonna play every card, and I mean every card until the ink wears out. And you're one of those people that try to get the game achievements, all the game achievements, and you got 300 to 350. I mean, for those kind of people, you definitely should buy a playset, right? My argument against the playset is because you are going to play with 2 or 3 of a card. So buying 4 of every double rare, you are losing money, right? Like, so, here's 20, here's 30, here's 40 that you're just losing out on. Like, why would you do that? But if you want to try different decks, if you want to try different things, you're gonna play this thing forever. You should probably buy a playset. That's your most value. Well, that's your most efficient way to get all the cards. All right when it comes out. Okay, next thing. You want all the shiny things and could care less about playing with people, and you got infinite amount of money. You're definitely going to be looking at buying booster boxes or singles. It just kind of depends. It actually depends on 2 things. So the type of set. So with Data Live, if you've watched any of my videos on should you buy this set or invest in it, I always went back and took a look at the Japanese cards to see the prices on it, and you could see right away if you wanted to, if you should have bought the singles or hi, you're throwing me off. You're throwing me off. So basically, my wife just came down after a shower. So I saw her creeping down, and that just threw me off. So if you take a look at the Japanese cards, there may be some cards that, if you add them all up, makes you realize you should buy a case. So that would be Data Live. If you look at Fate Grand Order, if you take a look at that, the singles are cheaper, so you might just buy the singles instead of buying all of the booster box cases and opening it yourself. I will be a few minutes. I'm sorry, she's staring at me. And I went back because that threw me off. All right, so next one is you like playing with people, you like shiny things. You play the majority of the game, or you go halfway through and don't care anymore, or you got a stack of games that have been sitting around for years. Like, I know people that have Steam accounts, maybe me, that you bought a bunch of games on sale and you never play it. Your budget is 200 or up, then you're going to be looking to buy a mix of booster boxes and singles, and that would be me. That's where I would be at, because I want those shiny things. I want to play, and again, the way to do that is you open these boxes, you find what's missing, you have one particular deck in mind, and you're going to buy the singles to fill that. Next is you love to play but you're low on money, and that's for the people 200 below. So you don't really care for the shiny things, you just want to play the game, and you have limited money, right? So you really can't afford to buy the shiny things. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be buying singles. We know after a set releases and everybody starts opening that the prices of singles drop, so you're going to look for budget decks. You're going to be looking for deck techs out there from various people, and I'll say here's a bunch of people that do deck techs. There's other people out there, but just go out there and take a look. You can make decks based on it. They'll show you all, like, I know Stock Swap Games does the Japanese ones. He'll show you like the different ones from the Japanese meta, and then you can look to pick them up. So again, 200 below, that's what you should be looking for. It's the best way, I think, to actually have a playable deck, but then not if you don't have the 300. And lastly, you love to collect but you're low on money, 200 below. I would say, me personally, if you're in that situation, I would just buy the booster box trial deck, maybe even the trial deck display. And what I mean by that is you may not even be opening this. You may just be leaving it there because you just like to collect. And if you wanted any cards, specific cards, you would just be buying the singles. Okay, so I know I rushed that here, but that's really what I want you to do. Again, this wasn't about telling people what to buy. It's more the education on it, because I've heard so many canned replies to people without finding out their financial situation, what they're actually looking, their end goal is. Are they going to play with all the cards or just one deck? Or do you want shiny stuff? So this is what I would tell anybody to do is, it depends. It always depends in life. No one's the same. So hopefully this helps, and have a good one.